Hello and welcome to my first tutorial of Eco. In this video I will be covering the basics and how to get started in the game. The first thing you want to do is open up the map and look for a decent location to start off with. What you want to be looking for is some wood is the most important resource, as well as iron. This looks like a nice location. As you can see, we have plenty of iron, as well as stone, copper and gold. Let's head over there and start building our first house. While you're on your way to the destination, you might as well try to pick up some food along the road. For example, these huckleberries will do just the trick. Now that we have finally arrived at our destination, let's open up the skill tree to select some skills. What you need is basic crafting, campfire cooking, labor, logging, mining, and storage. We save the rest for later. The first thing you want to do is start building your own house. Let's start chopping down some trees. When I build a house, I prefer to build it 7x7, because that way I have plenty of space for my workstations, as well as some for my storage. Our house is finally built. Let's start placing down our workbench, as well as a chest. Now that the house is built and got our workstation and chest in place, let's select some more skills. I would go for gathering as well as hunting, which allows you to get more food. Now let's go and get some more wood so you can craft some arrows for our bow. The next thing you want to do is build a campfire, which requires 10 logs and 10 stone. Now that we got all we need for a campfire, let's just craft it. And also take out your arrows that you crafted earlier. Let's go hunting for some turkeys and bunnies. Also, one thing that's worth mentioning is that when you're playing on a multiplayer server, I recommend you to claim your property, which you do with these flags. Quite simply, just select them and just right click around what you want to claim. And if you want to invite a friend to your claim, you can quite simply just right click on the deed you just created, and then you select authorize. Although this is a single player world, so I don't need to do that. Now that our campfire is done, let's take it and place it so we can start cooking. As you can see, it's out of fuel, so we need to add some fuel to it. In this case, we will be using wood. So let's chop down another tree. While we're waiting for our turkey to be cooked, we can check the mountains to the east of us, and hopefully we will find some corn or some other food around there. Finally made it to the mountain, and as you can see, there happens to be some corn here. There's also some beets here as well, which is also nice. Plants such as wheat requires the sites to be harvested. Okay, I think that's all the food we can find. Let's head back to our home. We have finally made it back to the camp, and hopefully there will be some turkey waiting for us in the campfire. Ah, wonderful. One thing that makes this game rather unique is that you have nutritions. What you need is to eat a balanced food. You can't just eat the same food over and over again. That will lower your skill points per day. As you can see, you have different nutrition such as carbons, proteins, fat, and vitamins. It's important to keep a balanced food. Now that we've finally eaten, we can start making a new project, which will be making our first research table, which will be needing plant fiber, stone, and logs. Now that we already know how to get the logs and stone, but what about the plant fiber? I'm gonna show you the difference between the grasses. You get it from grass. For example, this one is where we get the plant fiber. So just make sure you take the dark green instead of the light green grass. Okay, we have made it back to the camp, but we need lots of logs. Another thing I would recommend you to do is making a new storage chest. In the storage chest you can place close to the stone. One thing that will make your life a lot easier, instead of opening the workbench and going to storage and drag in the logs. One thing you can do is just right clicking on the workbench and it will go straight in. Now we can easily just start mining and shovel stone straight into the chest. Now then, you're probably wondering, why did we bother making a new storage chest? Well, as you can see, we can only carry one stone at a time. But if we open up the storage chest and drag what we have down into our slots here, we can carry up to 10 stone. That way it will be a lot more efficient than just going back and forth. Now that we finally made our research table, we can go ahead and place that somewhere inside the building. The research table will be the key to unlock all the other skills you will be needing through the game. Another thing you can make is the hammer. But to create the hammer, you need basic crafting level 2. Let's go back into our skill tree to level up basic crafting. But I already have level 2, so I'm not going to level it up again. Ta-da! Now we can go ahead and place our chest somewhere where you actually need it. Another cool thing about the game is that you can, for example, open up your chats. Just type in storage chest, and you can hover above it, the where you need to craft it, which is the working bench, as well as the recipe. And you can also see what the requirements for the building is. This is a quite handy feature to the game. Thank you so much for watching this first tutorial. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and if you have any ideas of what other tutorials I can make, please leave that in the comments. See you next time.